We have a new study to report to you guys on the issue of happiness, and there are some really fascinating findings. So The Independent explains, a study published in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry found that older people were much happier than millennials, and their age appears to be the deciding factor. The findings showed that despite physical ailments being more common in the elderly participants, their mental health was much better. Fewer of the older people involved expressed feelings of anxiety, depression, or stress compared to ones between age 20 and 30. The study's author says the following: there's constant peer pressure. You're looking at others and always feeling bad that you're not succeeding like some of them, and you feel like you have lots of choices, but you're not really making use of them. He suggested that by contrast, older people had fewer of these pressures and were perhaps more emotionally equipped to deal with them. So, look, it's an open question, and I don't know the answer as to whether or not the happiness level fluctuates that much because as you get older, you are just biologically hardwired to get happier as you're older. That's possible that that's an answer, that it just is how it is and it's something that's in nature. But it's also possible and perhaps even likely that it may just be the mental approach to life at that later age versus the younger age. So, for example, last night I was kind of hate watching the VMAs and mocking it on Twitter. And, like, I'm watching it, I know I'm getting older because as I'm watching it, whereas maybe 7 years ago I watch it and I go, oh, like, this is cool. I'm watching cool people do cool things with cool music and, oh, yeah, rad, bro. Whatever fucking terminology we used back then. But now I look at it and I'm like, oh, ooh. This is like a bunch of lost kids just playing this social hierarchy game, trying to outcool each other and, you know, be the in thing. And it's like posturing, social posturing, trying to get more social currency to be the cooler kid. And you can see it. You can see it unfolding in front of you. Like, oh, that person's trying to outcool that person, and that person is trying to be, you know, get the spotlight. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like you're watching a nature documentary. Like a bunch of fucking lions, you know, out in a field, pacing back and forth, or primates like, oh, I must show that I'm the dominant one, and they try to do shit. And that's kind of the sense I got. And at the end of the day, that kind of lifestyle and that kind of approach to living on this planet is like, it's fucking tiring and it's stressful and it leads to anxiety and depression because it's a rat race of life. And there's no stopping to smell the roses, no genuinely trying to develop as a person. It's just this weird psychological, biological game that goes on, and it's like, oh, I must outdo other people. Well, older people might get to a point where they're just like, fuck that bitch. It's why you see like old dudes wearing fucking trousers up to their fucking tits. They're walking around like, yeah, bitch, I wear my pants high. Blow me, I don't give a fuck. Because they're like, I don't care if you think I'm cool. What the fuck do I care? Who are you? Who are you? You're a lost little kid. Piss off. Get off my lawn, bitch. And there is a level of I don't give a fuckedness, to make up a word, that's admirable in older people. Now, maybe that, or I don't know, maybe it's also the idea of having a defined role and finding comfort in that defined role. Like, as you get older, usually somebody, okay, you had a job and you had a job for decades now. You know what you do with that job. You probably have grown to like what you do with that job. And then you're set. Like, you're set in your life. I have the place I live. I have my friends. I have my family. Here's my defined role. And I wake up and I go do my defined role. And then you're removing the existential angst that's based in not knowing what you're going to do with your life when you're younger. If you remove that angst, you lift that angst and give people the definite answers, well, there's probably a lot of comfort in that. So, look, I don't know. I don't know if it's more biological or if it's more situational and cultural, and it's nurture and not nature as to why, you know, people are happier when they're older, but the data's clear. They're certainly happier when they're older. So maybe, just maybe, the answer to happiness is act older, be older, develop their mindset and the way they view the world. I don't know if it's the increased level of fuck it or if it's the increased level of comfort in your defined role in life or whatever it is. But obviously older people have the answers, so you might want to listen to some of that wisdom from the dude yelling at you to get off his lawn because he probably has a lot to say that's enlightening.